You know, this is really starting to piss me off. So let's talk again about the day one right for unfair dismissal and why is this such a burden for all employers? I know this is a settled issue because they have now compromised to 6 months, but I was watching the debate in the Commons last night about the bill and I got so angry that I just have to come back to it one more time. Because let's be so for real right now. The thing that all of these employers are angry about is that they don't want to follow a process to dismiss someone and they don't want to have a reason for as long as possible. Because that's all unfair dismissal rights are. It's not saying to an employer, you're not allowed to sack anyone. It's just saying, when you dismiss someone, you need to have a fair reason and follow a fair process. And the part last night where my soul left my body was when the Conservative MP, Andrew Griffith, started crowing about the fact that he always knew that day one unfair dismissal was going to be unworkable, and thank God Labour came to their senses. Why is this so unworkable? And what are you revealing about yourself that you believe it is unworkable to have a fair reason and follow a fair process? Because what that says to me is that the business lobby has managed to tell their story very effectively, but no one has managed to tell the story of the workers enough to cut through this unworkable burden narrative. Let me tell you a story. Let's tell a story about, let's say, a young man and he's in a dead-end job. It's not really working for him and he sees a job ad and he's like, I think this is the one. And he gets really excited and he applies, and by miracle of miracles, he gets an interview. He's so excited that he actually calls his parents and he tells them, and they help him prepare. And this is his first proper career job. You know, he's done the dead end one, but this is the one. This is the one that can take him to that promised land that we all know should still exist of a proper career job. And he preps for the interview and he aces the first one, but then he has 2 more to go through. And he gets a suit so that he looks smart for the in-person interview, and he takes a day off work. And he goes through this entire process and they offer him the job. Sure, he has to rework a few parts of his life to make this job work, but this doesn't matter because this is the one. This is going to be the job that makes this new career. So he goes for it. He quits his job. He does everything he needs to do to go into the new place of work. His parents send him a little card on his first day at his new job. He is so excited. 2 weeks later, his boss calls him in, dismisses him, and says, look, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work out. I can't really tell you why. I don't need to tell you why. Why is the boss's story in that story more important than the time, the effort, the emotion that that person put into that job application and that hiring process and the changes that they made in their life to go and take that new job? Why are we believing employers when they seem to be trying to hold the economy for ransom, saying if you don't let us exploit people for at least a little while, we will just stop hiring people? There's only one story that we're hearing in the media that I heard in that debate last night, and that is the story of the business owner. They have convinced everyone that the only way that we are going to grow as a country is by at least a little bit of exploitation, just a little bit more exploitation, because that's worked so well so far. And I am just so angry about it, because why are we not just holding these employers to such a simple standard and saying, you know what, could you please just have a fair reason and follow a fair process and stop acting like that is some huge insurmountable burden? You need, if you're going to ask someone to change their life, to come and work for you, even if it's just quitting a previous job and coming to this one or rearranging your childcare or whatever it is, if you're going to ask someone to do all of that process and commit to you, then we will make a commitment back that we're not just going to arbitrarily sack you and not even have to give you a reason. And also, we won't complain if we suddenly have to give you a reason. I'm a business owner and I do not think that that is a huge burden to be asked of. In fact, I think it is the absolute bare minimum, the bare minimum responsibility of someone who has other people's mortgages and lives in their hands. But yes, I understand that we needed to compromise in order to get this bill through, and I very much hope that the Lords will approve it this time, and I very much hope that the Lib Dems in the Lords will climb down from whatever high horse they were on last night in the Commons debate. But I think that we're all letting one narrative dominate way too much, And I think we all just need to remember that it is not unreasonable to have a fair reason and a fair process to change someone's life.